All right. Welcome, everybody, to the January 2017 members only live webinar. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. All right, good. So let's see. Can everybody see my screen? This is the one-page financial plan. We're going to be talking about primary questions, how that impacts our financial preparation, our life preparation, etc. Again, January 2017. Good to be with you again. Now, let's go ahead and get started with, as you know, the disclaimer. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the host nor Aldrich Wealth Strategies is engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional advice. Since the details of your situation are fact-dependent, you should additionally seek the services of a competent professional. All right, today we're going to be talking about the economic conditions, where we're at right now, and I promise that if you engage through this webinar, you will experience clarity of vision through a powerful one-page financial plan. Okay. So, current economic analysis. The outlook continues to improve. We can see that from our folks over at AIER, that the leading indicator of the economy continues upward to 75. That's the highest it's been in about a year. Now, this is certainly the slowest recovery we've had in a long, long time, but it is still continued growth, albeit below average. And just a couple of things to understand about this recovery. It really has to do with the unfavorable demographics, right? You've got a bunch of baby boomers leaving the economy. You've got low productivity growth and weak global growth that are really impacting these economic indicators. But that's still, everything's still okay from an investing standpoint. It's acceptable, right? For a year that really was filled with some stress, the leading indicators dropped below 50 for a number of months in 2016, but in 2016 we ended the year with 9.5% return on the S&P 500, which is great. I mean, that's what you would love to see, especially in a questionable year. Now, a lot of those returns came after the election, which is interesting. But anybody that comes to you and says, "Hey, this is the peak of the market," or "This is what's going to happen," or anything like that, I would just run as far away as you can from them, because really nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows what's going to happen. However, it's important to note that the economic indicators show uh, sustainable, moderate growth for the future. That we have that we're not due for a recession, right? Um, and that the market itself is neither excessively overvalued nor excessively undervalued. And we know that from what's called the PE ratio, the price to earnings ratio, right? That price to earnings ratio is a ratio that should stay about the same. About on the S&P 500, it stays right around 18, 19, 20. That's a healthy PE ratio. Uh, and um, and what happens is if the earnings grow, then the price of that index grows, right? If the earnings shrink, then the price of that index shrinks, but the ratio stays the same. Okay, so we can measure if the market is excessively overvalued or excessively undervalued by the PE ratio of the market, and it's healthy at this point. Again, what does that mean? Sustainable, moderate growth, risk of recession reduced. Uh, but use those investment fundamentals, diversification, and keep it simple. All right. This is the chart from AIER, pointing to the leading indicators. We're at 75, expanding. and that's the best it's been for almost a year. Now let's take a look at the next part of the webinar. Go to this URL. Go ahead and enter this URL in your browser to print your one-page financial plan template. Okay, just enter that directly into your browser. It'll take you to a Google Drive file that you can just print. It's a PDF. It's two-sided, so you could print two-sided or two separate pages. It's up to you. Go ahead and enter that right now into your browser. Let me know if you're having any trouble with that. Okay, go ahead and enter into the comment section if you're having any trouble there. Okay. All right. Good. Well, let's keep going then. All right. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a cold today. All right. Let's keep going. Now, the fact is, if you're like most people, the amount of time you spend worrying about money is high. Most of the time, people worry about what's going to happen, how to do it, how to take care of it. But what we're going to do over the next 45 to 60 minutes in what would be really a relatively short period of time compared to the amount of time spent worrying about money, we're going to create this one-page financial plan. And that'll become more clear to you. It really has to do with the first step, vision, creating this vision of what we want, right? Understanding ourselves, getting to know ourselves, getting to know what is the target, that sort of thing. But we have to go a little deep into ourselves to make that happen, okay? And then we can start taking steps towards making it happen. This chart is one of my favorite charts. It's a guiding principle that I've used for the last more than a year. I learned it about a year ago. And it's a model for managing and achieving goals. It helps me analyze the feelings that come while thinking about or working towards a goal and understand why I may be having that feeling. So take a look at it. You can see there are 5 required elements for a healthful change or healthful goal achievement: vision, skills, incentives, resources, and action plan. If you lack any one of those, then you get the resultant feeling. Now, this concept comes from a well-known business psychology enterprise, Noster Enterprise Group. And although it looks simple, it really is a powerful tool. Okay, so as a leader in your family, community, church, career, you are always helping others to achieve. And you must be able to connect with these people in this organization, whether it be family, whatever, and listen to them, empathetically listen, understand, oh, you're feeling anxiety. Why is that? Once you do so, you'll be able to recognize the feeling, what's missing, and help them fill the gap so that they don't experience false starts, frustration, resistance, anxiety, or confusion. I did this just the other day, yesterday, with my wife. My wife was showing some anxiety. I was talking to her about something, a trip we wanted to go on, and she was worried about it. And I said, well, tell me what you're feeling. Are you feeling, confused about what? No. Anxiety? Yeah, I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling like I don't want to do this. Okay. Resistance, frustration? No. False starts? No. So really, you feeling like this is something you don't feel capable of doing? And she said, yeah, I feel like I may not have what it takes to do that thing, go on this trip. And I don't maybe want to, right? And that's okay. I was pushing it as something that I wanted to do and try to get her buy-in, but turned out she really didn't want to do it. So, hey, guess what? We're not going to do that. That's okay. But it helped us understand each other and understand where these feelings are coming to and what exactly was missing from the conversation, from the experience. Okay. So this is extremely powerful for you as you go through life, achieving goals, pushing change, supporting change in your organizations. And we'll talk about this, but vision really is first. So that's what we're going to focus on. So just like in the sport of archery, you must first know what your target is. It'd be foolish to shoot at an empty wall and then draw targets around the arrows to make yourself feel good. is, but really that's what we do sometimes. And that's why during this webinar, we're going to focus on developing a clear vision for financial success, life success, right? Again, what does financial success look like to you? Do you have it? If yes, do you want more? If no, what's holding you back? Why do you want more? What are you going to do with that financial success? We start with a vision because it clarifies the incentives and outlines the scope of skills and resources needed to accomplish the goal. In fact, it's impossible to talk about financial success without even going deeper into what we really want in life. So we have to understand what our desired outcomes are, right? What are the desired outcomes for life? What do we want? And unfortunately, most people go through life not having decided that. And therefore, they're shooting at a blank wall and lining up targets, right? Stephen Covey says it's important to go through life with the end in mind. When you're near the end of your life, what are the feelings you want to have? What do you want your life to be filled with? How will the world have been impacted by your having been in it? What will be said in your eulogy? If you don't create a clear vision now for what you want your life to be filled with, you'll reach the end of your life and find yourself disappointed in justifying what you decided to fill it with, just like somebody that shoots arrows at a blank wall and puts targets around the arrows just to make them feel better. But let's not do that. I don't want that to happen to you. Now, this all comes with a caveat. In fact, not just a caveat, a clear emphasis that riches and wealth are not always dependent on the zeros in your bank account, in the stuff that you have. Clearly, we recognize that. Riches and wealth. We just have to be conscious about determining our desired outcome, what the target is, what the vision is. And that's what we're going to do a bit today. Cool. Let's first, though, dissect the mental pathway for how we arrive at our desired outcomes and the concept of primary questions. So we're going to be talking about primary questions. This is something Tony Robbins points out, that we're all asking ourselves questions every day, consciously, subconsciously. We have these primary questions bouncing around in our mind. Now, these questions end up driving the outcomes in our life. Now, follow this progression with me. Our questions control our focus, right? So if we think these questions, these subconscious, conscious questions are bouncing around in our head, it's what we focus on, even subconsciously. A lot of folks have this build-up of stress because of these questions that they're allowing to bounce around in their head, that they either don't have answers to, or they're negative answers, or they're positive answers. Okay. Now, our focus is determined by our questions, but our focus controls then our feelings. Our feelings control our values. Our values seek out and attract benefits. Our values seek out and attract belief systems that will prime us for action, which then determine our outcomes, right? So since we all want to experience positive feelings and avoid negative feelings, we need to have healthy questions that drive positive outcomes. In fact, not just healthy questions, but then healthy questions and find the true belief systems and have the proper behavior that will give those outcomes, and have us then answer these questions positively, because we're always going to be asking these questions even after we have gone through this process to have some outcome. We'll then continue to ask that question and have a positive or negative feeling relating to the outcome that we have developed for ourselves. So let's try this on and pay close attention. Do people like you? Do people like you? This could be your primary question. A lot of people have this primary question. Do people like you? Now, your focus immediately changes to an image of you, why people might like you, why maybe they don't like you, or others judging you. You then instantaneously experience some feelings relating to those images in your mind, right? These feelings, positive or negative, then make an imprint on your values, your value system. Your conscious and subconscious mind will now seek out a belief structure, a belief system that will prepare you to take action, to improve those feelings, to improve the answers to those questions. Your outcomes are based on the actions that you do, founded on the chosen belief system, right? If you believe that people like people that wear Converse or trendy shoes or trendy clothes, right? You have this belief system that people like me more if I wear uh, trendy clothes. Well, that could be your belief system. Your actions would then be to find trendy clothes. What is your outcome? Okay, do they like you? You're going to ask that question again. Do people like you? Okay, so again, let's say you choose the correct belief system and did the right thing, get people to like you, and you'll continue to ask that question, do people like me? You'll experience positive feelings knowing that people like you. And if you chose a false or misleading belief system for getting people to like you, or your behavior did not satisfy the requirements for getting people to like you, when you continue to ask yourself the question of, do people like me? You will experience negative feelings, realizing that people don't like you. Okay. Now, I only use this question as a simple example on how mental pathways work. But I do believe that this question is a common, although very destructive, primary question. It invites shame, guilt, other self-deprecating, what I call quote unquote head trash that can cause someone to spin their wheels, trying to avoid the perpetual negative feelings that it can bring. Again, positive feelings are the result of having healthy primary questions that true belief systems and behaviors allow us to then answer positively. I'm going to read that again. Positive feelings are the result of having healthy primary questions that true belief systems and behaviors allow us to answer positively. That's when we get positive outcomes, is when we have good questions that we can answer positively. Now, the trick is, what do we focus on? What should we focus on? Well, first off, focus on what matters and focus on what you can control. This question of, do people like me? You really can't control. That's their reaction to you. You can't control their reaction, so it's not something you can control. And really, does it matter? In some situations, it may matter, but it's a poor question and can invite, again, that shame and guilt and head trash. Okay. All right, let's try it again. Very close to home. Is there a God? You picture now what God may look like to you. You then experience some feelings relating to that image. The feelings imprint on your values. Your mind seeks a belief structure that will prepare you to take action. And your eternal outcomes, in fact, not just eternal outcomes, but your feelings throughout life are commonly, and for religious people, are very impacted based on your beliefs and your actions, right? So this is a very powerful question. Now, countless belief systems have grown up out of this question. It really is a driver for a lot of people to do very kind and loving things and enjoy very good feelings throughout life. While on the other hand, it can drive some to be filled with very negative feelings toward others of differing belief systems, right? Churches fighting churches, or even, for some to become suicide bombers based on their chosen belief system and their actions. But starts with these primary questions, right? And what belief systems they have accessible to them, what are fed to them, what they have chosen to believe. Okay, so powerful to think this through. And this couldn't be more the case than with this question. All right, let's do this last one. Will you have enough money to retire? Your focus changes to an image of what retirement looks like to you. You feel something related to the image of whatever that may be, right? Your values are imprinted. You'll seek a belief structure, right, that will prepare you to take action. So if you have that question, will I have enough money to retire? Maybe you have this vision of me and my wife sitting on a beach, okay, with the sunset, right? I'm going to find a belief system that will get me there. A lot of folks find the get rich quick fall into the get rich quick rut because they have a belief system that's going to be the way to do it, or anyway, there are all sorts of belief systems that they can fall into, and then behaviors that may or may not get them to be able to answer that question. So again, let's just take this through one more time here. Let's say you chose a correct belief system, right? And you found Aldrich Wealth Strategies, and you found out that, hey, Aldrich Wealth Strategies has the answers to how to retire. Let's do that. And you did the right things. When you near retirement, you ask yourself the question, will you have enough money to retire? You will experience positive feelings knowing that your family will be taken care of, and that you can live your vision of retirement. Pretty cool feeling. That's a great feeling. There would be a negative feeling if you chose the false or misleading belief system that you should be market timing, or that you could get rich quick through this, that, and the other system, or your behavior did not satisfy the requirements for achieving your vision. When you near retirement, you ask yourself the question, will I have enough money to retire? You'll experience negative feelings, realizing that you won't have what you need, and you failed to achieve your vision of retirement. So you can see now how life's direction and eventual outcomes are controlled first by the primary questions that you ask and allow to bounce around in your head, and the positive and negative feelings felt that come with the answers, the belief systems that you adopt, and the actions that you take. Pretty cool. Now, I love this diagram here. And some of these black and white diagrams that you're seeing here are coming from a good friend of mine at Behavior Gap Radio, Carl Richards, and you can check him out. Factors that drive returns. I would say it's belief systems and behavior. Those are factors that drive returns. But really, when push comes to shove, nothing's going to happen unless you have the proper behavior, right? And that's impact. That really, belief system is built into behavior. But even beyond nothing really trumps the behavior that is going to drive your returns. Not even the stocks you pick, whether it's small stocks or large cap or value or growth, right? In fact, over here, outside of things that drive returns, market timing, stock picking, CNBC, your brother-in-law, right? Those things do not drive returns. Behavior does. Yes, the percent of stock, but not as much as behavior. Behavior is number one. I found over time that finance is behavioral. So you can see in the membership site, in the online university, you can find some of our past webinars, our live webinars, member-only monthly webinars, and some trainings that have gone through behavioral finance, the importance of understanding where these feelings are, right? So behavior really drives returns. Okay. But where do the primary questions come from, right? So if that's the root of it all, where do the primary questions come from? Now, I've come upon this personality test, Real Colors. It's fantastic. I use it with family, friends, work. It's been wonderful. So we're going to go through that really quickly. I found that fulfillment in life comes, right, quote unquote, fulfillment in life. This feeling of really achieving it comes from living out your real color, living who you are, right? Finding out who you are and being able to act out in that way. Now, sometimes you don't do that, right? Like this guy on the orange, he's throwing away the instructions. That may feel good, but it may end in a negative outcome, right? All right, let's go through this. I'm going to read some of the descriptors of these real colors and the corresponding personality traits. You'll really start to discover which one you fall into. Now, recognize that you're not just one, you're not just two, you're all of them, you're a combination, and you're not there forever. Things change. Your temperament may not be the same in 20 years as it is now. And don't think of yeah, this is the way I should be. So kind of project yourself as a gold because you think golds are better. Uh, there's no such thing. Golds aren't better, greens aren't better. Okay, don't rank, don't feel like you should be any one or another. Just be introspective here, and it'll be enjoyable. Just real quick, and you can look at the diagrams to kind of get an idea of what these are. Orange, right? Some words that describe you may be immediate, generous, witty, spontaneous, competitor, performer, troubleshooter, optimistic, eager, charming, courageous, independent, willing, reactive, fearless, excitable, enthusiastic, adaptable, uh, easygoing, mechanical, compromising, persuasive, wild, fun, and crazy. I am fun loving by nature. I have lots of energy to try new and exciting things. I'm easily bored. I love relationships where I can enjoy my favorite activities. I learn by and through my experiences. All right, green. Some words that describe me are complex, curious, abstract, independent, intellectual, research-oriented, inventive, logical, scientific, cool, calm, collected, theoretical, and analytical. I'm non-conforming by nature. Oftentimes, the greens are going to be devil's advocate. I think in abstract terms, and I'm always curious. I'm independent. Because of this, people often think I'm impersonal. Uh, I love to work as long as I am constantly challenged. I question authority and have to respect someone before I value their advice. I'm impatient with routines. So greens will commonly reinvent the wheel. Blue. Some words that describe me are peaceful, sincere, spiritual, subjective, sympathetic, insightful, caring, compassionate, personal, empathetic, romantic, humane, nice, poetic, sensitive, accepting, patient, giving, and true. I'm nurturing by nature. I have a vivid imagination and love to talk with others about the way I feel and learn about their feelings. I will do almost anything to avoid conflict or confrontation. I'm a true romantic. I tend to follow my heart rather than my head. I believe in true love. I respond well to encouragement and seek opportunities where everyone can be successful. I am deeply devoted and a committed friend. I seek sincere people and value unity and integrity in my relationships. All right, gold. Some words that describe me are practical, organized, provider, stable, thorough, punctual, dependable, painstaking, conservative, detailed, solid, hardworking, consistent, structured, positive, predictable, and reliable. I'm stable and dependable by nature. Uh, I follow rules and procedures and have a deep respect for regulations and authority. I'm serious-minded and have a traditional and conservative view of love and marriage. I show my love for others through the security I provide and practical things I do. It's important for me to be punctual. I'm uncomfortable with change. I'm often motivated by feelings of guilt or what should be. I am loyal and faithful in my relationships. All right, give you a second here. Um, Recognize that your real questions, your primary questions that are bouncing around in your head, consciously, subconsciously, might be based on your real colors, right? So if you're primarily orange, you may be fulfilled with adventure and spontaneity. If you're green, you may be fulfilled with solving problems, answering the universe's deepest questions, or simply learning and reading. If you are gold, you may be filled knowing that all is in order, that you are in control and are being productive. If you are blue, you may be fulfilled by improving relationships, spending time with friends and family, or enjoying the arts. Your primary questions may relate to how you can get more of these things or if you have enough. I like that. All right, so when we recognize that we are a certain way, right? Our real color is a certain color and we have this certain temperament, then we can start thinking through, okay, what are our primary questions? And it's a good exercise to think through, okay, what do we want? What do I want to be thinking about? Because it will really translate into stress or worry or what our focus is that is going to drive our outcomes. Um, what do you want to be thinking about? Where do you want to emphasize your effort, place your resources for what desired outcome, right? When my wife and I were just married, I was at work on a break, feeling like life should be more than just retiring at 67 and 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 kind of do the retirement thing. You know, I essentially was asking myself some primary questions of what will my memories be of at the end of my life? How will I feel about my life lived? Right? I was doing the whole Stephen Covey thing. It was a very healthy experience. Right? Did I live up to my potential? Did I enjoy life as an experience? I called my wife, and in a moment of clarity, we wrote down what we have since called our Notes to Life song. Kind of a cheesy title, but it has been powerful for us. The Notes to Life song. And it really was just a bulleted list of words that encapsulated what we wanted from life. And I created later a poster with images representing these things, and I've hung it in my office so I can see it and think about those things. It's really been a guide for my primary questions for the last 3 years. In fact, since we were married 12 years ago, 12 years ago, 12 and a half years ago, I can clearly see really how this has continued to shape my life and my experiences so far and the direction I'll head. I definitely recommend anybody do the same thing. We're going to do a little bit of that today. Again, I referenced Stephen Covey, and not only Stephen Covey, but this is the main concept presented by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. But it can be as simple as, what are the things that you want? So I have this collage of images that help me driving towards those things. Now that's not a comprehensive list, and it was just a few things that I threw up there that you could consider. But what do you want from life? Think about that. And again, it doesn't have to be driven by zeros and ones. Let's get back to the model of managing goals and put this all together. So primary questions are driven by nature and nurture, right? Real colors temperament is really kind of the nature end of things, and nurtured by our adopted and evolving belief systems, value systems, and our temperament changes. Right? Primary questions drive the vision of our desired outcomes. So let's have you write down some of your thoughts. Right. So this is you've had a lot of time here to think through. Okay, who am I? Real color. What do I want? What is the vision? Again, if you haven't already, go to this URL and get that one-page financial plan template. All right. Print that out. And on the back of the two-sided printout, you should have this mind map outline. Again, the goal being financial success, and you can broaden that to life success if you want, but financial success for this financial plan. Go ahead and write down in each box a bulleted list related to that section. For vision, you may write down your real colors temperament, with your orange, green, gold, blue. Any of your primary questions related to that temperament? Any primary questions that you have related to financial success that have come to mind? Any driving principles or desires, motivations? This is your Notes to Life song here in the vision box. What will you do with your time? What will you buy? Who will you be with? How will you feel? And recognize this is important. The worst, not the worst thing. Maybe one of the worst things that could happen is that you go through life driving toward a vision that is not your own. driving toward a vision that in the end will not give you the outcomes that you truly desire. Now, this doesn't have to be entirely selfish, right? I mean, this vision can include philanthropy. It can be these primary questions that drive you of how can I serve? Who can I help today? Who needs help from me, right? Who can I love? Because my belief is that this life experience, although should be enjoyed and should be a learning opportunity, is really our best chance to learn how to love and serve and care. So, so write down in the vision space, land, mountains, nature, horses, turtles, okay, whatever. Whatever you really feel like, okay, you're having this epiphany right now. This is what I want. This is who I am. I want adventure if you're orange or whoever you are. I want love. I want relationships. Okay, so write down, and you might be writing in the margins now, just writing all over this page of words that relate to this vision, right? And just let these ideas and feelings come out of you. Service, etc. Okay. What are the feelings you want to have? All right. That's a cool experience. I'm gonna move on. You can come back to this if you have a spouse that's not with you right now. Bring them in, sit them next to you, have them watch the replay of the webinar together, and go through this exercise, notes to life songs, so that you're on the same page. Okay. Think about it. Maybe tonight you're going to lay down. You're going to think, oh, that's what life should be about. Again, one of the worst things is if you're going through life, and a lot of folks fall into this trap of the stuff trap, right? Oh, I want a bigger house. I want a bigger TV. I want a different color in my room, right? Uh, the trap is people working all day, all their life to buy stuff to impress people they don't really care about, rather than really understand themselves and create a vision and drive toward the vision, right? And it doesn't have to be, again, money related. It could be very simply, I want to go camping. I want to be in the nature. I want to be in nature, so I am going to go camping. Or I want to be in nature, so I'm going to, I don't know, figure out a way to paint that picture and drive that direction. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead, and this is the fun part where we take those words and we start drawing pictures. On the flip side of you, this is the front of your one-page financial plan. Let's make this a little bit clearer, right? On the left side, you have short-term goals. On the right side of the top section, you have long-term goals. And so this one-page financial plan is going to be filled with images. Now draw those pictures. This will tap into a deeper part of your psyche. It'll be a deeper part of your emotional who you are, your subconscious. It's going to tap into that, and it's going to imprint this true vision, right? And if you mess up on this one, print another one. But what I want you to do, and this could change your life. I am not overstating this. I could not possibly overstate this. This practice, diligently applied throughout your life, will drive your outcomes, period. Put this on your bathroom door, your refrigerator. Put it somewhere where you frequent, so you can see your short-term goals, your midterm goals, your long-term goals in this emotionally connected image, right? So that you are then recalled to this moment where you connected with yourself. You drew this image. You understand, oh, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is the vision, right? And then you can drive toward it, right? So start drawing that. You write in words in the margins, in the gaps. Uh, there's no real structure here. Just write short-term vision, right? Maybe that's pay off a credit card. Maybe that's buy a house. Maybe that's uh, pay off a car, right? Maybe you can write debt, the word debt, and a circle around it and a line through it, right? So you can get really creative with this and just have these little images that are going to evoke feelings, right? These are going to be primary questions that you have that are going to evoke feelings that will drive belief system, behavior, and outcomes. And these are positive questions. Don't put up questions that are not going to be constructive, like do people like you? No, this is you can see how this is different. This is deeper. So draw on this one-page financial plan these images, put words. I'm going to give you another minute, and then promise to me that you will post that somewhere. It could be on a mirror. It could be in your bathroom. It could be in your office. It could be in your car. Okay, post it someplace that you see it frequently. It could be the backside of a cabinet in the kitchen, and you see it and you're reminded, and it imprints on your values, and it drives behavior, and it drives outcomes. Okay, another thing you can do here, and this is something I do in my home, is I write, if I feel like my primary questions are destructive or I have head trash because of negative questions, I can re-imprint, I can reprogram my mind with new questions. So I take a dry erase marker and I write a new question on the bathroom mirror, right? I see that, I read the question. Right now it's, who can I serve today? Who can I serve today? And so I ask that question day in, day out. And before long, it's imprinted. It's a part of me. It's a habit, a mental habit of thinking about who I can serve. And that's the way to reprogram your primary questions to drive positive outcomes. All right, cool. And that is the end. I'm going to let you finish your diagram, redo it. Feel free to go back to that URL, print out as many of those as you like. Draw them together with a spouse, draw them with a family, draw them with whoever, um, and really enjoy having that constant reminder of what you really want, what's really important to you. But again, it doesn't always relate to the number of zeros in your bank account, the stuff that you have. In fact, most commonly, it relates to changing those primary questions, being really intentional about what your vision of success is and what you want out of life, and just making it happen. And you can do it. I know you can. I know you can. We live in a world of opportunity, and I know you can do that. All right. So we have a summary here of what we finished up was that the economy is doing well. Right. It's below average, but the year in the market, 2016 markets were good to us, relatively good. Given the turmoil in the economy, we can look forward to moderate growth. So I would not stress about the economy at this point. Don't let people get you worked up, because really, in the end, there's not a whole lot you can do about the economy. In fact, nothing except what you can decide on how to invest. But again, nobody has a crystal ball, so it's so hard to make changes. We talked about the protective put strategy this year. That was a good strategy to reduce risk throughout the year, but I would not expect that any of my any of you members out there still are using the protective put strategy. It's no longer something I'd have you consider. And we talked about primary questions and the impact on vision for the future. All right, let's go ahead and ask questions. Any questions? So go ahead and just ask your question. If you have one, in the chat box on the right side. Now you can always ask questions by email, so you can shoot me an email at spencer@aldridgewealthstrategies.com, and I'm happy to answer those questions by email, or if it would be better, I will answer them in the next monthly webinar. If you have any recommendations for questions or topics that could be addressed in the monthly webinars, great, shoot them my way. I'd love to have your input. But I don't see any questions, so we're going to close this up. You'll get the replay tonight, and I will then post this in the membership site, so you'll be able to see this before too long. Sometimes it takes as much as a week for my guy to get that posted on the site. But I hope you all have a great week, and we'll talk next month.